Great.
There you go. Okay.
Okay.
Have a nice class. I'm going to go watch television. I'll stay
Get
here.
depressed.
Yeah.
Thank you, Renee.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you for your patience.
Well, in the spirit of Christianity, we have our Savior here. It's not me. It's not me.
We know.
This was amazing because I usually never have a problem with this, but this time when I turned it on, both my speaker wasn't working, my speaker and um, the visuals. So then finally, I
It's
got
not working
I
right.
got to.
Yeah. We're
Is it
breaking up.
working now? Is it working now? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear
Now
me?
I can.
Can you hear me?
But it's yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear what
Yeah.
can you hear what I'm saying?
Keep talking. No,
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
comes after your lip move.
What are they saying?
Not very good.
Yeah.
Simon wants to know if you're getting sound here.
Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Only
Yes.
sporadically.
Coming in and out.
But it's not clear.
And there's a delay between the time you speak and the time we hear it.
I don't know. That didn't happen before when I was talking, right?
Well,
No,
it sounds like
right.
The audio is,
connection.
You
Okay.
we hear.
is the same thing happening now?
No.
No?
So it's just Simon?
Yeah, it's just Simon.
Okay, let me try again.
You have to use a loud voice. Okay?
Let me try again.
I don't.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm not going to explain what happened. I'm just going to go right into this
Right.
because if I start explaining, it's not going to work. But let me tell you, this is a miracle. Okay, so I want to do a little introduction to this class to start with. Um, so during the week, I began to think about Bruegel and how long the Bruegel would be. And I'm not sure how far I'll get today, but I thought we would do Bruegel 2 times. And today and a second day next week. I'd like a third or a half of next week to deal with the film that I suggested that you see.
Mhm.
Okay, a few of you wrote to me about that film, and that made me think of something, which is that if you feel like writing to me, you should, because the note that I got was just incredible, really, really incredible. And some of you, like if I say, does anyone have a question? I know some of you are just want to listen, or maybe you're a little shyer or whatever. So if you want to write to me, I'm not sure when I'll be able to respond, but I will respond. And that will give you a chance to communicate if you don't do it in class. And I'll definitely write back to you. So that's one thing. Uh, in this class, for the people who are new, and for everyone in general, usually there's 1 or 2 times when the students write. And so I'm going to send you uh, with the recording tomorrow. I'm going to send you some notes I have about writing an essay. Um, so I'm going to just go over that briefly now. which is that an essay should describe what you're looking at and have a point of view. That's the generality of an essay. And in this essay, and even in the next one, I would like you to concentrate on something which I would call slow looking, which means you're really, really looking, engaging, and describing by your selectivity what you're seeing. So here are some topics that you can write about. One is Gregory Gillespie. Two,
Right.
Brueghel. Brueghel. Three, Gillespie and Brueghel, comparing them or having an image from one and an image from the other. The film Museum Hours. And in terms of Gregory Gillespie or Brueghel, you could compare two images of their work, or you could compare them to each other, or you could compare them to another artist. So you're going to have to send me two images, one or two images, and I will put those images on the screen, and then you'll read what you have written. And what you write should be between 15 and 25 lines. Okay. And if you want to time it, it shouldn't be longer than 4 minutes. Say between 3 and 4 minutes. So you should try to see the film that I mentioned, which is called Museum Hours. And I will reiterate all of this when I write to you tomorrow. So do you have a question? Anyone have a question? Okay, if
I do. I was about to call you Renee because I
yes,
see you as a. When do you expect we do this? What's the timeline for it?
well, I was going to say October 29th, but it seems to me that maybe you should let it gestate a bit. So I'm going to push that up to November 5th. And it maybe will start with someone else on the 29th. Okay. So that's kind of what I think. And I thought we would on the 29th, if my thought process makes sense, I'd like to do the contemporary artist William Kentridge. Did anyone see the play or the performance that was put on?
Having trouble here.
Did anyone see the play or the performance of William Kentridge at Powerhouse Arts this past weekend? No? Well, it was really extraordinary. One of the best things I've ever seen. One of the best things I've ever seen. Absolutely extraordinary. So even though I like it to be consecutive, it seems to me since I'm not sure about the 29th, I thought maybe the best thing to do is to leave these essays to November 5th. So I'm going to start with Bruegel. now. So Bruegel, he lives between 1525 and 1569. So he lives for 44 years. And I didn't realize this until I was putting this presentation together. That's quite young. And he packs it in 44 years. It's an amazing, productive life. Much of his work is located in Vienna. So, have any of you seen his work in Vienna?
Yes.
Okay,
Oh, lucky.
it's pretty extraordinary. There's a room in Vienna which has maybe 16 paintings of his. 4 or 6 of them, I think, are masterpieces. So, so you're in one room with perhaps 6 masterpieces, and they're all done by the same artist. So we're going to look, if I could figure out how to do this, we're going to look soon at 4 of these paintings. This is one of the greatest rooms I've ever seen. Okay. So in the Metropolitan Museum recently, I found myself looking at the newly presented European collection. And I was particularly interested in seeing a painting by Van Eyck, which used to be a diptych. Now they're saying it's not a diptych, it's a triptych. But in any case, I always saw it as a diptych. And the attribution for this painting is very well written. And it says that Van Eyck's painting was both telescopic and microscopic at the same time. This is a fascinating piece of writing. The same thing would be applied to Bruegel. Bruegel's work has an overall architecture and is teeming with little details. Details where a head is maybe a quarter of an inch high, 3/8 of an inch, a half an inch in height. No, I'd say maybe a quarter of an inch high. It is very intense art, and it is very distinctive, almost unlike any other artist. He has done amazing drawings, which I selected also. There isn't a great deal known about his life, but one of the theories is that he grew up in circles where he saw peasants, a lot of peasants, and that he comes out of that world. But he himself was, my hunch is that he himself was not just a peasant, but an intellectual. His paintings are very detailed and highly realized. His paintings of peasants are quite unique. A singular and unusual subject for art, and especially for major works. The paintings I'm going to show you are quite large. They're maybe 40 by 60 inches, and they're just teeming with things, items, people, actions. His work has a visionary quality. It clearly visionary. Um, the work has a great deal of space and architecture and perspective to it. A great sense of space. Okay. Yeah. Hold on a second. Hold on. Hey, Renee.
Oh, God.
Renee. I don't know how to do it so that it changes the screen.
You mean sharing the screen?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so then you just go up from there. Oh, you have to make it full screen?
Right. You want to play from the
Yeah,
start?
yeah, that's great. And then how do I advance it?
So,
Oh, okay, okay, that's great.
do you see it? Can you see the PowerPoint? Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so one of the four major Brueghel paintings at the Kunsthistorische Museum is this painting, um, Hunters in the Snow. Um, um, this painting has a dazzling visual array in it, from the hunters and the dogs in the front to all the way out in the distance, to the trees, to the crows, to the birds, to the people dancing, or whatever it is that they're doing, all the way out in the distance. There's something about the painting in its simplicity that makes me think in a weird way of Chinese and Japanese art. The way things are simplified and emblematic. So this in particular, this detail in particular, almost seems Japanese or Chinese. So getting back to this is about 40 by 60 inches. And the other paintings that I'm going to show you are just about the same size. They might be 42 by 64, something in that range. These are tremendous details, but they're details within a vista that is very designed and controlled. So these people in this painting are maybe 1 inch high. This is amazing. So you can see them on the far right. Before I use this term that I saw in the attribution, that the art was telescopic and microscopic at the same time. Um, this painting appears, a reproduction of this painting appears curiously in a film of Andrei Tarkovsky. It's the film Solaris. And I don't know if you know this film, but in the film, um, something happens on a space station, and someone is sent up to find what is happening to these people on this station. And at some point in the film, there's a meeting of these various people, and they go into a room, and in the room there are reproductions of this painting. It's a very curious thing to see. Okay, so the second painting, which is in the Kunsthistorische Museum that I wanted to go over with you, is this painting, The Tower of Babel. And so I have some notes on this. Well, I I think the notes have, oh, here we go. So I wrote this down from something I read during the week. Brueghel paints to the heretical nature of the Tower of Babel, which strives to imitate the realm of the divine, to reach above the very clouds. So this attempt to reach above, to imitate a divinity, is a cautionary tale. And I think that that's what is being shown here. And he's also showing the way this building has been constructed. And I think that this building is influenced by a stay in Rome where Bruegel saw the Colosseum. So here are some details of this one. So this is all made up. This is not painted from photographs or from I don't know from what. It's just made up. Um, this is a very visionary image. He actually does a few of these paintings. One is smaller, and this one is in the same size as the ones that I've described. Oh, I should mention also that all these paintings are done on wood panels. And um, there's a certain look that a painting has on a wood panel. It's the details are more controlled, and the paint here in the way he's painting it is thinner. Oh, and I mentioned the thing about wood panels last week, I think, and um, the textures can be controlled on a wood panel. So let me go back to the whole painting. So this is like phantasmagorical. You could look at this for a few days. This is mind-boggling. Um, the wood panel is primed with gesso, and it's primed until the gesso is super smooth. So these paintings done on wood panels are very luminous.
Hmm.
A beautiful turquoise green, clay tones. Um, this is a fantastic visual memory to be able to do this. So this is a detail of the right-hand side of this painting. If you just took out um, about a fifth from the edge on the right, you would have this. The word visualness is this is what the word visualness is. See how small these people are? I bet each one of them is probably an inch high or three-quarters of an inch high. Um, okay, so this is the third painting, also about the same size. And this painting is called Children's Games. Okay, so I'm not sure if this is correct, but in one of the pieces I read, it said that in this painting, there are 230 tiny figures in the painting, which is mind-boggling. And I actually have a book on this painting by itself, which is written by a man named Edgar Snow. And it's a book in which he must have been totally crazy about this painting. And it's a book in which he analyzes and describes all of the games that they're playing.
God.
Okay. And so in one of my readings today, I came across these few phrases, which I thought were very interesting in terms of this painting. A comprehensive view of human folly. Second, an almost unprecedented visual theme, closely examined. Third, children's games used for symbols and teaching of customs. Next, out of trifles, serious things. And then this last one, which I happen to like the most, play, even if it appears without sense, contains a whole world therein. The world and its complete structure is nothing but a children's game. The world and its complete structure is nothing but a children's game. Thus, after the frost thaws, you will find your own folly in children's games. So here's a bunch of details of this one. So these details are very small. And if you look at the earth that they're standing on, that's really beautifully painted. So the earth is painted very thinly, and yet it appears to be a strong enough background to hold these figures. And what they're doing is they're doing all the different games of that period of time. So these figures, I'm going to guess, are about 2 inches high or an inch and a half high. This is like mind-boggling. And you could see the thinness of the paint in the background areas and this curious earth tones and the turquoise, the turquoise tones, turquoise and blue, and reds, very strong reds. You see the figure at the bottom doing a headstand, and the figures in the windows looking out. He's like teeming with life. See the people looking out the windows at the top? Now, Renee's computer is much smaller than mine. So I'm really straining to see these, but I can see them. But I hope your computers are a little larger. But you can see the various items on the floor in this detail and the deep space in the painting. Okay, so let me go back to the whole painting.
Hmm.
So that deep space runs on the right-hand side all the way out. And okay. Okay. So there's one more painting in this grouping, which is in the Kunsthistorische Museum. And this painting is this one here, which is called The Battle of Carnival and Lent. So Bruegel pictures Carnival as this man on this cask, and Lent, the woman to the right. And he's setting up a paradigm of the different directions, visual directions between those two celebrations. One might be considered gluttony or lust in that direction, and the other might be considered asceticism. Okay. So this is a detail of the man, and these figures on the bottom left are just wonderful as part of this sense of what human beings are about. Even has different things on the ground, cards and vases, and I can't make out what the rest of them are. This is a detail of that section of the painting. He's a fantastic draftsman. Many of these possibly come from drawings, but it can't be from drawings. These are made up from his imagination. This is without the aid of photography. This is a visual memory, a mind-boggling visual memory. But even more than a visual memory, it's a memory harnessed by composition and art and compositional devices in art. Many of these paintings have very high horizons. So the horizon is at the very top above the roofs. Oh, this is too bad. This is reversed. This one is reversed. I'm sorry. Actually, it reverses very well, but it is reversed. Okay, so those are the major works that are in the Kunsthistorische Museum. I thought to show some paintings and additional drawings. So here's some more paintings followed by drawings. This is a very interesting painting called The Blind Leading the Blind. This is a very, very small painting of musicians. And I think that this painting is in the Frick collection. So Brueghel is a fantastic draftsman, and here's a grouping of drawings of Brueghel. This looks like to me like pen and ink.
Oh,
You see the creature in the front, half person, half creature. Um, these are so fantastical. Um,
ah,
They make me think of surrealism.
yes, yes, absolutely,
actually
absolutely.
makes me think of Bosch.
Of
Mhm.
who?
Bosh.
Yes. Who? I'm sorry. I didn't.
Bosh.
Bosch.
Oh,
Bosch.
Caracas
Bosch.
Bosch.
Bosch. Yes, I agree. I agree totally. He's a little bit after Bosch.
Mm.
Do you know where this one's from?
I don't know where it's from, but I think the proverb or adage would be big fish eating little fish.
Because I think I saw it at the Prado.
This one? This one?
Mhm.
Ah, interesting.
But yeah, it's
Uh,
great.
Speaking of the Prado, I'm sorry that everything worked out in a very mixed up way today, but I had meant to ask Carol
Mhm.
about her trip there. Okay, but maybe we can have time for that later. But I just want to get as far as I can here.
His drawings are so beautiful.
Who is speaking?
Sorry, Philippa. His drawings are just so beautiful.
Oh, yes, yes, I agree. I agree. Um,
Simon, you think these might be etchings and not drawings or
no, I
drawings?
think these are drawings, but your point is a good one, but tangentially, many of these drawings were made for production
Mhm.
in wood blocks or in etchings, but these look like original drawings. Um, this is one is very interesting because the leg and sigh almost appears as if it's pulling out of the picture plane,
Mhm.
pulling forward. Now, this supposedly is Bruegel,
Mhm. Mhm.
okay? And this is actually a detail of this drawing,
Mm.
which depicts Bruegel and a connoisseur of art as he oversees what Bruegel is doing. So this is Bruegel's self-portrait. To next to him is this art lover or collector or connoisseur in quotes, and I love this drawing.
Mm.
I like the expression on the connoisseur's face. That's excellent.
Yes, yes. I think Bruegel has a lot of humor in him,
Mhm.
and yet something that is dark and deep. Isn't it something else? This
What is the title of that one?
I don't have it in front of me. I'm sorry. I just even if the whole evening would have been perfect, I wouldn't know the title. Um, but I just think his imagination is so stunning.
Oh,
This one is called The Beekeepers,
oh, it's a
and
lot
it is a drawing in pen and ink. Not big, but pen and ink. I think one more, and then I'd like to hear from all of you. Now, this is my painting, my drawing painting, and this is Bruegel, and this is mine. And um, on my screen, which is Renee's screen, is different than mine. I have a quite a large computer. It's like maybe 25 inches wide or 23 inches wide. You appear next to the image. in this computer, part of the image is cut off. So if I hope you can see the whole image, this is an image of children. It's about 6.5 feet wide.
But it looks like the beekeepers in the background. So
Who said that?
Carol.
Carol. Yep, that's why I put it there. That's
Right.
why I put it there. So here we go. Here we go. I don't know how to point on this on Renee's computer, but the beekeepers are in the middle there. I try to think of different scary and anxiety provoking images that I connect with childhood. And those images are floating above. Anyway,
Wonderful
so
painting, Simon.
thank you, thank you. Do you see, Carol, when you look at your computer, do you see the whole painting?
I can.
You can. Good, good, good. Okay. So, questions or thoughts about Mr. Bruegel?
Well,
Um,
I
I am not used to looking at this computer, so I can't really see all of you.
so Simon, it's Carol.
Yeah,
And I was struck in the Tower of Babel that the detail, I mean, we talked about the detail, but the detail of construction
yes.
that he has in there, I don't quite understand how he would know that. I mean, yes, they were building cathedrals at that time, but it, as you look at all of his details of how they were constructing it, it's just incredible.
Well, it is incredible, and it's especially so because I think a good deal of it is imagination on his part.
Wow.
It's like mind-boggling, really mind-boggling. And I've visited Vienna 3 times, and it's quite an amazing place to visit because besides these paintings at the Kunsthistorische Museum, Vienna has a huge number of paintings and drawings of Schiele and of Klimt, and that museum has,
Leopold.
has an amazing collection, including uh, a great Vermeer painting called The Art of Painting. Um, so I've enjoyed visiting that city very much. But if you are of a certain age when you visit that city, um, I think the city has a lot of ghosts in it that are gliding around. If you just stop and concentrate, you might see some of them. But you just look at the art and enjoy it. Uh, it sounds weird, but someone else want to pitch in, or I'll call on people.
I have a question.
Yes,
Uh,
yeah.
can you define what you mean about by visionary and visualist?
I don't know if I use the term visualist, but highly visual. Visual means full of imagery,
Right.
and visionary means images that no one else can see, that you see in a vision, like in a trance or on a trip or in a spaced out state or
France.
probably 10 other adjectives that would describe what a visionary experience is. But this painting of mine is visionary, I think, this one. But all the paintings that I showed you of his are clearly visionary. In other words, that which cannot be seen but is depicted by an artist could be called visionary. But it would also have to be um, what hardly anyone else can see. Um,
Yeah,
Sarah,
Simon,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rich.
uh,
Rich.
you know that he goes to Italy, Rome, and he takes that journey across the Alps, which influences a lot of his imagery. But what's remarkable is that he comes back and doesn't adapt any of what's going on in the Renaissance. You know, no religious themes,
Mm.
no nativity scenes, no Christ scenes. He's just sort of immune from that. You know, like it's incredible that he breaks new ground. And some people might say he's like one of the first realist painters, if you will, in that regard. And I'm just thinking, by the way, Caravaggio comes around in the late 1500s, early 1600s. So he's just a generation or two behind Bruegel.
Yeah,
But he's Caravaggio's still dedicated, devoted to the religious, Counter-Reformation stuff. Uh, but Bruegel is just out of nowhere. You know, he's just like, where did he come from?
I think your point is terrific. I agree with you. I agree with you. But the proviso would be that um, there's religion that's hovering
Mm,
over these
mm,
somewhere, and it's a religion between Protestant and Catholic
mhm,
hovering in the backgrounds here. And
mhm. He does
uh,
have that procession to Calvary, the
but
one there.
yeah, but even in these,
Yeah. Mhm.
did, I thought you said you had been to Vienna.
I've been in the Kunsthistorisches Museum through the website,
Oh, okay,
which
okay,
is which
okay.
is wonderful. You know that you could go see all these up close in the Bruegel
Uh,
room. Yeah. Anyway, yes, I haven't been there in
okay,
person.
okay. Sarah, I sense that you want to ask something or say something. Sarah,
Well,
Frank,
I'm
Sarah,
kind of
Frank.
I'm new to this group. I'm a friend of John Parham's.
No, no, I understand. I understand. I'm just saying that I'm looking at your face and I'm sensing that you are have something you want to add.
I'm just sort of taking it all in.
Okay, okay, fine, fine.
I do have a question about the actual so the paintings he painted in both oil and egg tempera.
I
So
I think these are oil.
yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, I think these
It's
are
just
oil.
curious. He used both, so I'm not sure um which would be which, but the large ones you showed I think are oil.
Yeah, yeah, they're oil. You reminded me of something because the ground in these paintings is very, very ivory-like. The paintings, when they age, paint generally gets thinner when it ages,
Mm.
and the underpainting shows. And in these paintings, when as they age, the underpainting, that ivory tone, it gets it gets more luminous if the
Mhm.
paint is thinner, if the paint is thin. So these paintings are just hold up very well, and they're very intense. Um, and Yeah, when you see these, if you are lucky enough to visit Vienna, when you see these in person, they look further different and they're incredibly engrossing. Um, and they have a literary counterpart. So they're almost like novels or stories, but they're not stories that you would know. They're stories that he knows. And
Yeah, they're magical.
they're magical. Yeah, they're magical. Yeah.
Well, I've seen them at the Met and I've seen them at the Prado. They each have a few.
Yes, the Prado one is beautiful.
Mhm.
The Triumph of Death.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Um, let me see. John, you look like you want to say something.
When Richard was speaking about his return from Italy and how he didn't import any of the knowledge of the Renaissance and including Renaissance perspective. And you said, Simon, that you'll usually find a very high horizon line in these paintings. And when I look at his work, when I look at these landscapes, there's a sense of vertigo in a way because he not only puts that horizon line high, I think he tilts the picture plane forward. It's like he wants this table-like surface
Yes, yes,
spread all his characters
yes,
and the visionary, but also inducing a sense of vertigo because things are not quite
yes,
right.
yeah,
And I mean, it probably doesn't matter whether he knew what he was doing or it was something he had to do to pack all that information in. But it adds to the visionary. It adds to the.
yes.
I,
You you reminded me of something. Even if he had some kind of drawing that had the major things, the major events going on in these paintings, there are so many areas where you can absolutely see improvisation, where people are um, fooling down or jumping on each other or playing games with each other,
Mhm,
where it must have been in his visual memory
mhm,
to depict those.
mhm,
You couldn't possibly have all of this delineated first. It must have been painted as it came to him. There must be an overall composition,
mhm.
but there's a lot of things happening here. Um, uh, Someone else want to add?
Yes, I'd like to make a comment. A moment ago, you mentioned that there might be sort of a literary aspect to these paintings. And that's reminded me of uh, Erasmus, who lived at about the same time. I don't know exactly the
Huh,
dates.
huh.
I don't know whether uh, Bruegel would have known anything about Erasmus, but he wrote a famous satire called In Praise of Folly, which used a great deal of irony
Yes, yes,
and humanity in terms of, especially given the political and religious situation at the time. Uh, and some of these paintings sparked that in me as well, this idea of irony. That, well, for example, the one that you showed that Lent and
Carnival.
Carnival fighting,
Yes,
uh, it seemed like there was no real anger there in that painting that I could see between those two combatants. Uh, and anyhow, I just think that there might have been some connection there between sort of an Erasmian feeling about the difficulties of the time and seeing it in an ironic way rather than in a, you know, specifically angry way, one way or the other.
I agree totally. I agree.
Right.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Um, say, is Mary here now? No?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. I just want to get everyone involved, so I don't mean to put you on the spot, but
No, it's I wonder like, what possessed him. What could have driven such, I just can imagine when he worked, he must have been totally like swallowed up into the paintings because they're so incredibly detailed. And it's astounding to think like there's no photography and he just takes his mind and recalls this and is able to reconstruct like a Colosseum. It's amazing.
well, the actually the paintings that I'm going to show you next week are equally as good as these, and there's another maybe five, six, seven of them, and they're just amazing. Let me go back uh, to one of his paintings. So this may seem weird, but some of the scenes that I see on television of Gaza and the destruction of Gaza and all the people that are in like a protest or a square in Gaza um, look like this actually. They're like teeming with people, and it's quite a scene. I mean, and to invent this before television, before film, before photography, just as a human being, uh, I don't know. It's a pretty amazing to me. Um,
I
yeah, yeah,
excuse me. I think I mean the environment that they lived in the world was so different than it is for us now. But I think it reminds me of some of the savants that we see who are able to look at a scene and I'm not saying that's exactly how he did it, but his mind was just amazing to be able to envision all of this. And the figures so tiny, but you can see the gesture in
yes,
each of
yes,
there's a
yes,
realism to them
yes.
even as they go back and get smaller. Each has an individual gesture. And I'm sorry, could you tell me the title of the first painting that you showed us?
The hunters in the
The
snow.
first Brueghel?
Hunters in the snow.
Hunters in the Snow. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Let me see. From last week is Anne Marie here?
Oh, yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Hi.
What kind of thoughts do you have?
Yeah, I'm trying to think about the time he lived in and whether his work, in the Renaissance, the artists were supported by the church and their religion, so they were painting for the churches. He doesn't seem to have that kind of support. Do you know anything about, like, personally how he was thought of during that time? Where did he show his paintings? I mean, how did he survive during that time?
Well, in this case, I wish I was more of an art historian than an artist because I don't know the answer to your question.
Uh-huh.
Um, I'm I would guess that these were painted for particular patrons who were interested in a particular scene. Um, and you are totally correct. This is not a painting of a church-inspired theme, a religious-inspired theme, or the paintings of nobility. But how he was received and who these paintings were for, I can't feel confident in saying. So what I'm telling you is just a hunch. But your question is great. Yeah,
It is.
I don't
It's
like making things up, so it's just a hunch on my part.
You
But
know, Simon,
here's go ahead,
yeah,
Rich.
but one interesting discovery, if you will, is how all of these paintings ended up in Austria, in Vienna. That could also answer somewhat the question that this woman is asking
Can you
about
tell?
who was collecting Bruegel.
Can you say how it did?
And some of, well, it's sort of fun to let people guess, uh, but anyway, you know that the Austrian families, the Habsburgs, were very involved in the lowlands in the 1500s and intermarried with the Spaniards, you know, Philip II and then Philip IV eventually. And so they exerted their hegemony over that district for hundreds of years brutally. And some of this is portrayed later on. We'll see in the procession to Calvary and so forth. But there were collectors in the Habsburg um, kingdom, if you will, or you know, advisors to the kings and queens. And so, and even noblemen as well, you know, who were in his lifetime. Actually, Bruegel was collected. He was valued. You know for instance the seasons of which the Hunters in the Snow is one of them were for this one burger, if you will, named Jonkheim, I think his name was, or
Oh, that's great.
yeah,
That's great.
yeah, he had commissioned this the four seasons. I think there was six seasons originally, and then so anyway, that's to say he wasn't obscure. He was
But that's how these paintings got to Vienna.
yeah, that's how they got to Vienna
Yeah.
eventually through the
Yes,
Habsburg,
yes,
which is
yes. That's excellent. Thank you.
yeah.
Uh, is someone else, has someone wanted to speak who hasn't? Um, Rita, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. Yeah, I was thinking that he he did. I'm assuming he did most of his paintings in the Netherlands, even though he traveled. Do you
Yes,
think?
yes.
And I think that the Netherlands had a kind of different philosophy and a different lifestyle than the empires that surrounded it or the kingdoms that surrounded it. They were very business oriented. They were very guild oriented. I think I read somewhere that he was in an art guild, and he was able to in 44, young 44. You know, he probably didn't start painting until he was close to an adult. He did become successful, and and his subjects weren't religious, and that might have been part of the Netherlands mentality.
Yes, that's a good point. That's a very good point. Um, um, i- have you seen these before?
I have, but not in person.
Huh. Is Len still here?
Yes, I.
Oh, you want to add
Um,
something, Len?
yeah, I've sort of a lot of different thoughts. Certainly, the influence of Bosch it seems quite pronounced to me. Um, and you know, I would speculate that he chanced across a Bosch at some point, and that may have reinforced for him that you could do a piece of the scale and of the detail of a Bosch, you know, because just looking at this one in front of us, who would contemplate putting 250 figures into a painting if you had not perhaps already seen someone pull it off?
Well
Right?
said. Very well said.
Um, I love, and it's an interesting dichotomy, both his clear affection for the peasant.
Mhm.
It's just great. There's a real naturalism, a real glorification of just kind of people doing their simple thing, in a time when most people lived simple lives. And then contrast that with those phantasmagorical images. I mean, this is a pain. This guy, he just had big, thoughts, and he didn't let anything
Oh
get
yeah.
in his way.
Yeah. Well said. Very well said. Yeah, I totally agree. Um, Trying to think of anyone who hasn't contributed. Um, Alan, are you still there? Oh, no. Um,
Simon, I
yes. Oh,
I'm
yeah, yeah, Susan.
I'm interested in the I'm not quite sure how to say it. Maybe I'll just take the children's games.
Yeah,
You don't see all those children playing all those games at the same time. So there's a kind of funny encyclopedic
yes,
Yeah.
aspect to this.
yes, yes,
The encyclopedia becomes visual.
yes,
And I'm interested in that, especially in light of what people were saying about the Netherlands, because, you go into a cathedral and you'll see very simple, very direct, this is the life of a saint. And it's pictorial because people don't read. But this is different. It's pictorial. Yeah, I'm fascinated by the fact that he takes all of those examples, puts them all down,
yes. That's very good
but
point.
it's a really different story than anything you would walk into a cathedral and see.
Yes, it's a
So,
very good point.
yeah,
I particularly like what you said about encyclopedic because you're absolutely right. I In other words, he's not just telling you a few things. He's giving you everything, and he's just going for it. It
yeah. I thought of a CD. I really liked it when LPs were not so long. Now you get CDs that just wear you down with every song that anyone ever sang. And it's a little bit like a CD.
well,
It's like an archive.
yeah, an archive, yeah, there's a thoroughness about it that is maybe northern or German or something.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. But
But
also
but
an affection.
yes,
They're
yes,
very affectionately
yes, yeah,
figures in all the
Mm.
paintings
yes,
we've seen tonight.
yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. I agree with you. Um,
I agree wholeheartedly. When Mary spoke up earlier and with the question, I wonder what possessed him. My knee jerk was to say he was in love. He was in love with humanity, the pretty, the ugly, the stupid, the foibles. He embraced it all, but and there's a tenderness there. He's not I know he's sarcastic at times, but it's not caustic and
No.
bitter. The guy was in love with the world.
see, I actually thought that Gillespie and Bruegel kind of went together
Hmm?
in a weird way. They almost seemed like two different participants in a story that involved, in a weird way, the two of them. But I can't say more about it. It just felt kind of interesting to go with Gillespie and lean into this. Um, I don't know. That was just a crazy thought I had. Um, who has not spoken? I see. I only see five people here on the side. I don't know how you do
Uh,
this.
I,
Oh, okay.
I have
Sylvia, yeah.
spoken,
There's a little arrow
but
you can.
yeah, I too cannot see everyone. So I was like everyone else struck by how intricate his work is. And it reminded me that at the Metropolitan Museum, I was there this past weekend with some Italian friends who were visiting. There is this beautiful boxwood miniature that's also from the Netherlands. And I was trying to figure out if there was a way I could share the photo, but I just, I would need two Renees to help me with that. So, but and I don't know if you can see the photo if I hold it up right now. It just doesn't. I have it on my iPad. Uh,
Hmm.
mm,
Oh, I know
maybe.
that.
Yeah,
Uh,
interesting.
it's
Interesting.
like the most amazing thing because I mean it's incredibly small, and I don't know if it has a 350 small people there, but certainly it has a lot, and so it was sort of an interesting kind of parallel to think about. Again, these are very different uh, pieces of art, but so intricate. The other thought I was having is the children's games. If you don't look too closely, I think has such a timeless quality.
Hmm.
It could be just, I don't know, Halloween in the countryside somewhere, and it really captures something that is really time. When you zero in, then you see that this is not happening now, but there is such a beautiful quality about that.
Yeah, I like what you're saying. Um, I if there's no one who is there someone else who wants to speak?
I'm just going to add that this has made me realize Bruegel is one of the few books I don't have on my shelf, and so I'm going to pick it up. And I did hear some, and I don't remember. I'm gonna get a book. I'm gonna try and get some more insights. But Dan Thompson talked about some of the ways Bruegel sold small works to help keep income, and I can't remember exactly what he said. So I'm going to see if I can find out a little more.
The book that I have on Bruegel, which it has very good um, reproductions. It's by a man named Larry Silver.
Larry Silver?
Uh, Maybe it's not Larry. Maybe it's Jerry Silver. Larry or
Jerry.
Jerry Silver. And
Okay.
uh, it has very large reproductions. It's an over-large book. It might be slightly pricey, but it may be the price has gone down. But
I
his,
will check.
look it up. But one thing occurred to me about what the last few of you have said, which I'd like to add, which is that in the last few years, there's been uh, an atelier movement, which I referred to last week when I mentioned the person who was the head of some atelier who wrote to me about Gregory Gillespie. And so here's the difference, really. The atelier movement about realism is rule oriented and getting everything right, getting all the measurements right, getting all the rules right.
Mhm.
These paintings of Bruegel are more realistic. They're more they're more of a portrayal of life than this recent group of realists. Okay, but they're not painted in the same manner. But in my opinion, these are much better. They really convey the spirit of this world that he's talking about. Um,
Mhm.
it, one person who I haven't heard from in a bit is Kathleen. Is she still here? Kathleen? No? Um, Carol, are you still
I'm
here?
here. I'm here. I
Oh,
just
Kathleen. Yes,
I
Kathleen.
was muted. Um,
Would you want to add something, or I
yeah. I did anyone besides him and Bosch concentrate on painting masses of people?
I again, I can't think of it quickly. I
There
mean,
is another, sorry, there is another artist, and I have been trying to think of the name. There are a couple of paintings in Toledo, and it's a similar style. I cannot think of his name, but he falls a little short as far as I'm concerned.
El Greco? No.
uh,
No, no, it's a much more similar style to this from the Netherlands.
huh.
A lot of winter scenes.
Yeah, I'm not drawing a picture of someone.
Did he ever do individual portraits?
Well, he did that
The
self-portrait.
the drawing of himself,
Oh,
I
that
would
one.
say,
Yeah.
but not really, not
No
really.
portraits,
He's
really.
mostly a landscape painter, if you want to call these landscapes.
Yeah. The other thing that's, I guess, kind of obvious is that I don't think there are any members of the aristocracy in any, or, upper class people in
Yes,
any
very
painting.
good, very
Yeah.
good, very interesting.
No, I love that. I think Richard pointed that out to start. It's a
Yeah,
really good point.
yeah, very interesting, very
Same.
interesting. Um, Carol, are you still here?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I had planned to ask you about your trip to uh, Madrid, and
Right.
do I remember this right? You were going to Madrid,
Yes,
and you obviously went to the Prado.
obviously. Yep.
And I was curious to know um, what you made of the Garden of Earthly Delights after seeing it after our discussions and my presentation.
Well, I was very lucky in that we were there early, and I was smack in front of it, and I found it, well, I mean, it was wonderful having gone through the presentation before because I already had this sense and I was like just driven, tied into the details of this. And my husband had to finally pull me away because
Mm, mm.
I just, it just enveloped me in a way that, that obviously we couldn't get from, from here. And I was able to follow the three parts of it and see everybody moving. And it's just it's amazing. It's the detail. When I looked at the Bruegels here and online and thought, well, yes, it reminds me very much of Bosch, but Bosch's whatever was going on in his mind was was right front and center there. And I think, much more so than Bruegel. I mean, they are, although I've seen some of the images in Bruegel that kind of look like some of Bosch's very strange sexual images and people. But Bosch, when you look at it, I mean, it's very religious in the Garden of Earthly Delights in its way. But it was just amazing. And there were all these kids kind of giggling around, looking at the painting with the little kids and their parents pulling them away. And finally, my husband pulling me away because I just thought it was just extraordinary.
So I'm going to leave you with this image, and then I hope I'll get all this worked out by next week. I really is upsetting, upending actually. But here's Simon and his daughter at the Prado Museum. The painting is not where it is now. It's hung on a wall. Uh, Simon starts smiling a little bit and maybe laughing. I looked down at my daughter, who's 6, very bright-eyed 6, and she starts laughing a little bit. And then I start laughing a bit more, and she starts laughing. And then I think to myself, um, well, this is amazing. And then I astro project, and I'm 25 feet away, looking at the two of us,
Mm.
looking at this painting. And we're both laughing at looking at the painting. But that painting is not funny. I mean, it is funny, but it's not funny. And here's my daughter laughing. She thinks it's funny, and it is funny, but it's not funny. So I'm going to leave you with that. And thanks for your good spirits and thoughts. But the simple fact is, we're all here tonight because of Renee. so so
Thank
I,
you.
Thank
I'll
you.
Thanks,
see you next.
Renee.
I'll see you next week, and have a good sense of humor and keep it up.
Mhm.
Okay. I'll see you
Thank
next
you,
week.
Simon.
Thanks,
Thank
Simon.
Thank
you.
you,
Looking
everybody.
Good
forward.
night,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Okay.
Good
Bye.
night,
Bye bye.
everybody.
Bye. Hey, hey, Renee. Renee, I have another question. How do you end the recording?
Where is it? Man, where is it?